Got my ugly cry face on. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is the month of joy. Wow. Okay, so that's joyful tears, that's wow. Okay, here we are, last Sunday of the month of our theme, creating a joyful life, and there's tears in joy, right? It just, has it been fun? Has creating a joyful life been fun this month? Have you been doing it? Are you immersed in it? What kind of a noise are you making? That's the question. What kind of noise are you making? Are you making a joyful noise? Yes, that's what this is all about, reconnecting with that joyful life that we know is within us. So are you making a joyful noise, or are you making a cranky noise? Look at your life, what kind of noise are you making? Ernest Holmes said he has, in his talk, everyone has the power to change our mental attitudes. He said this, he said, if you focus your complete attention on joyful, happy experiences, you are uplifted. Or you can think yourself into being unhappy and depressed by pondering on fearful or unhappy experiences. If you turn your attention to your fears, you are discouraged. Well, it's like, where are you spending your mental energy? What are you investing in? Your faith or your fear, your happiness or your worry. We are at choice all the time. Grumpy noise, happy noise, cranky noise, joyful noise. We are always at choice. So what is it going to be? We have to remember that the universe can reflect back. That's what it does. The universe reflects back to us what we put into it. The law, right? We said Ernest Holmes talks about the love and the law. And he said the love is the first cause. It is the word. And it sets the law into motion. He said it really clearly. He said, love points the way, and law makes the way possible. So law is that constant echo in our lives. It's echoing back to us what we are putting out into it. And that echo, the law, that constant echo is the song in our heart. So what is the song in our heart? Because no matter what that song is that we're playing in there over and over and over again, the tone of that song is going to come back to us manifest. It will come back to us in the situations and the conditions and the circumstances in and around our lives. Anybody see that movie Inside Out? Did anybody see that? It was an animated movie. Okay, little guys. Each one of them is a different emotion, right? There's happiness and sadness. And okay, I watched it, honest to God, I just watched it because I wanted to see Louis Black be angry because he's just so damn funny. Anyway, so Joy was a character there, and she needed, remember at the end, she needed sorrow to balance the energy of the person that they were inside, right? But in the beginning, what was it? Joy was just running around. She didn't want sorrow around at all. She kept pushing her off, like, no, go sit in the corner, stay away, just go look at the puddles of rain, just like, don't be here. But the fact is, joy would be meaningless without sorrow, and there's something about that for our lives. It's like we all want springs and summers, but nobody wants falls and winters. Nobody wants the fallow, dry, barren landscape of fall and winter after the harvest is done. But we need that in order to replant and grow again and turn it into another spring. But we have this impulse to want all springs and summers, to want all joys. And if sorrow is there, it's almost like it's wrong. Like we've done something wrong, and we try to get rid of it as fast as we can. But sorrow is a balance to joy. And without sorrow, joy would really be meaningless. If it was joy, joy, joy all the time, we wouldn't even understand what joy is. So sorrow or sadness is not bad. It's not something to be raced through as fast as you can to get back to the happy place. It's something to experience. It's another emotion in our whole entire repertoire of emotions to feel, because that is really what our soul is here for, to experience, right? The soul is seeking connection and experience. And so sadness and happiness, like two rails on the train tracks, it's with us. Ernest Holmes said this, the simplest approach is to always be most direct. Believe and it shall be done. Accept and let it be done. Convince the mind and no longer deny the greater possibility. Act as though I am and I will be. So we have that balance to strike. We have that balance to strike. But what we know is that joy is with us always, because joy is a quality of God, so it's always there. It's always within us. We live in a world that we have created of duality, and we balance these things. There's not really joy and sadness. There is just joy in whatever, on that continuum. Remember that continuum we talked about, on whatever that scale is. We place it wherever it is. And so we must understand it everywhere along that emotional scale. There's a little teeny, teeny, tiny bit of joy, right? Just there, just almost nothing. We call it sadness. But in God, there are no opposites. So there is only joy. There's only the least amount of little joy that you give yourself or you allow yourself to experience. All the way up to the extreme opposite end, right? Yeah, I'm in like total bliss. And anywhere along that emotional continuum, we can find ourselves. And none of it is wrong. You know, we can be in joy, we can be in sadness, we can be in bliss, we can be in depression. You know, trying to stuff our feelings because we have judged sadness as to be wrong and bad and something to be avoided at all costs, it just makes it like, I remember Debbie Ford used to say, it's like we're trying to hold a beach ball under the water when we push our emotions down. And how long can you do that? You know, I mean, at some point the thing pops up probably in the most obvious place, you know, in the least opportune moment, and splashes you and everybody around you, you know, with your bleh, you know, with your stuff. So it's about feeling all of your feelings. Feel them, walk through them, because they will come back. And just because we commit to the quality of God known as joy, that does not mean we will never feel the other emotions. They're there, we feel them. And if we walk through them, we allow the natural state of joy to emerge once again. You know, and we don't put all of the emphasis on not feeling bad, not feeling bad. We walk through it, we breathe through it, we allow ourselves to feel it, and the joy that is within us, it's a quality of God, so it's always, always there. Then it comes back out again where it's supposed to be. In that same talk Ernest Holmes gave about our mental attitudes, he said this: it is a joy of living each day to the fullest, of having enthusiasm for each day that dawns, that we must seek to recapture. Wouldn't you love that? Right? Like you get out of bed, you know, you open up your eyes in the morning, you go, oh my God, I'm still here. This is fabulous. I'm alive, right? That's the enthusiasm he's talking about. He goes on to say this: for those who still possess this priceless gift, when they become adults, will stay young and happy at heart always. Every possession on earth, all the honors that can be bestowed upon us, in fact, all that the world has to offer cannot compensate for our lack of purposeful enthusiasm and joyful participation. So he's saying it's like none of this stuff matters. None of the stuff that we collect. You know how you do that, right? When you get to be a young adult and you start collecting things and you collect them, and you know, cars and houses and knickknacks and furniture and this and that and the other thing for the first half of your life. Well, the second half of your life, you start getting rid of all of it, don't you? It's like, it's just the weirdest thing. You spend the first half of your life collecting all the crap, and then you spend the second half of your life just giving it away to people. This stuff is not important. What's important is the zest and the zeal for life and waking up in the morning like that little kid, you know? You open your eyes and you're like, hey, I'm still here. Yes, life is good. And you bound off and you do things. Joy is found in those little things. Joy is found in the little things, like getting caught in the rain while you're walking the dog, you know? Everything has its perspective. Everything can be viewed as either joyful or drudgery. It's how we place it in our mind. It's what context we use. And not everything has to be big and glorious and grandiose in order for it to be joyful, right? Oh man, sometimes the most joyful moments are those little quiet times when you have that perfect cup of tea. You know when you know how like you can make it 100 times, but there's like one time where it all comes together perfectly, the milk or the cream and the tea, and it's just absolutely perfect. And there's joy right in there. You know, we have to realize we are here for a finite amount of time. Even though we are ageless, deathless, birthless, immortal beings, immortal spirits. We are here in this body at this time for a specific and a limited amount of time. We were all born with expiration dates on our bodies. That's just the way it is. But there is only one of you, and you've never been before, and you will never be again, and you are needed here. You are here right now in this place and in this time and in this group and on this part of the earth for a reason. And it's your job to understand that and to give that and to give that, you know. It's give your gift, give your joy, give your energy. Just allow it to flow from you to the outside. The greatest steps forward we make are the steps we make in joy, because we are giving of ourselves to something. You know, it is accepting the responsibility of being in service to ourselves and to each other that bring the most joy. Guys, right? Is singing, being the higher vision choir, it's not, well, I guess it's about what you get, but isn't it about what you give? I mean, the gift that they give us every month when they sing to us so dearly, you know, the angels that they are. And it's that givingness that provides the most joy for us as the receivers, but also for the choir as the givers of the gift. And so it's about defining that in your life. What do you love? Where is your bliss? What do you give? What are your gifts? Because it's as you give, so do you receive. That's what they said, right? I've heard that somewhere. And it's as you give, you do receive mightily. And that's where the joy is. When we release the stuff that no longer feeds us and no longer serves us, and we accept the new things with open hands, we accept them joyfully. We claim our good joyfully. We claim the new joyfully. We allow spirit to flow through us into the world. And when we're that open channel and when we are doing it in joy, that is when we're at our truest nature. You know, and it just it comes out from inside of us. Because again, joy is a quality of God, so it's already in us. We don't have to find it. We don't have to go anywhere to get it. We don't have to dream it up, or we don't have to try to obtain it anywhere. It is within us to give away, to give out. And joy is our natural state of being. It is just our natural state of being. We don't have to try to force it. We don't have to try to make it. We don't have to try to discover it. I'm in a movie theme today, I think. Remember, I don't know if anybody remembered that movie, Elmo Saves Christmas. I don't know. I'm like kids' movies. I'm into kids' movies today. Elmo Saves Christmas. Okay, so, all right. So here's the deal, right? Elmo gets 3 wishes, and what's this first wish? He wishes it's Christmas every day, right? For a little kid, wouldn't that be the wish? I wish it was Christmas every day. So poof, it's Christmas every day. And what happens? It's like day after day. It's fun at first. You know, first couple of days, he's thrilled, right? It's another Christmas morning. It's another present to open. It's another this and another. Yeah, after about 6 weeks of that, it's starting to get old, you know. By July, everybody's going, oh, God, you know, do we have to do this again? And it's because joy, with nothing, with no break, with nothing in between, it becomes meaningless. There's nothing special about it if it's constant. There's no special thing about it. Joy loses its meaning when we have nothing to compare it with. And that's what the soul craves. The soul craves experience. The soul craves connection. The soul is here to experience all of it. It's not just relegated to the good stuff. We are here to experience all of it. We are the ones that judge that the sad is bad. You know, sad's something to experience. It's normal to be sad. Sometimes it's not something to be run away from or to be medicated away from. Sometimes sad is the appropriate emotion for the situation. And I remember when my mom died in 2003. That's sad, you know. That's sad. And we went, well, anyway, she lived in Florida, but the funeral had to be in New York, so there was a lot of shuffling around that had to happen. And there's we had an old family plot, you know, that's been in the family since the 1600s, so she had to, you know, go all the way up there. And I remember after the funeral, what do we do? What do you do after a funeral? You go eat, right? Everybody eats after a funeral. It's an affirmation of the living. It is an affirmation of the living. We're here, we eat. That's what we do. We get together and we eat. And you know what happens when you're all together and you're eating and you're conversing? All the memories come up and all the stories come up and we start laughing. And the joy comes back, even in the saddest moment. The joy comes back up because you start remembering the goofy things my mom did, or I remember when she, or whatever. And the joy comes back out again because that is the truth of us. Yeah, it's emotionally draining and it involves many details and there's a lot of sadness there. And yet, when we get together, what do? We start remembering the stories. We tell the stories of our lives. And there's joy there, and there's laughter, and there is lightness. So we absolutely positively know that joy is a quality of God. It's always within us. It's always in us, waiting to be expressed. So what are we doing to get that out? It is the truth of us. So what do we do? This is a practical spirituality, after all, right? So what do we do when we don't feel it? What do we do in those times when we don't feel it, when we don't feel like we have it, or we feel like we lost it, or we feel like it's outside of us in some other experience? How do we get the joy, but we really don't, it's already in there. But how do we reconnect with that joy? How do we wake up every morning and decide to be joyful? Can we do that? Can you wake up in the morning and decide, today is a joyful day. Today is a joyful day. There's no reason why you can't decide that. You're the only one in your head. Nobody is in there with you, unless, of course, somebody's living rent-free in there. That, you got to get rid of that. You can't let people live rent-free in your head. So you wake up in the morning and you decide, today is an awesome day. Today is a joyful day. And you make that an affirmation. You make it an affirmation before your feet touch the floor. Today is an awesome day. Wake up every morning. Choose joy. We have to do it actively. And here's the deal. When we make an affirmation to find it, what happens? We find it, right? We find it, even in the littlest things. If we affirm in the morning, today's a joyful day, we will find it around us, in those people, in those places, in those situations, in the conditions around us. It reveals itself. If we make that demand on the universe, if we place that affirmation powerfully into the law, what happens? The law goes to work without question. And so then we find evidence of it around us, because the universe can only reflect back to us. So joy reveals itself to us. How else can we be joyful during the day? Yeah, be joyful. Minding our own business. That's another way. Minding our own business. Keep your eyes on your own paper, people. Because here's the thing, right? We can choose joy for ourselves, but we can't choose it for other people. It doesn't work that way. We can choose it for ourselves. So keep your eyes on your own paper. Don't worry about what the other guy's doing. Just know joy for yourself, and what happens is you resonate it out and around to the people around you. That alone can be enough to change someone else's life, right? Like, we are little lighthouses. Do you know we're lighthouses, all of us in religious science? I didn't know if you knew this. Lighthouses don't go running all over the island trying to look for boats to save. Lighthouses just stand in the truth, we are here to stand in the truth, to shine our lights bright, and what happens is people are attracted to our light. People are attracted to our joy. People are attracted to our positive energy. And we transform lives just by standing there and shining so brightly. So that's exactly what we do. We have to just stand to allow the joy just to flow out of us. It's within us to flow out of us. And we can't be worried about what the other person is doing. We can't try to fix anybody else. We just stand, we just shine. And those people that are attracted to our light, to our joy, to our love, to our power, to our peace that we radiate, all those qualities of God that we radiate, they will be attracted to that, and they can transform. They can transform just being in the orbit of your light. Because that's what we do. We set powerful intentions. And if we set that powerful intention to be joy, we do find it because it is within us. And then we shine it and we allow others to. We can only stand in it. So what else can we do? Practical things that we can do for a joyful life. Peter, what? Gratitude. Live in gratitude. Absolutely. If every day we woke up and after we said, yay, I'm still alive, woohoo, we set the intention to be in gratitude. I'm grateful for, you do not know how many times I get up in the morning and I'm grateful for indoor plumbing. I got to tell you, that's a big one for me, okay? I don't have to toddle out into the backyard into my business. That's an amazing thing. You know, think about it. Think about everything that we have to be grateful for. Another way is use discernment. Use discernment and not judgment, and there is a difference. There is a difference, you know. When we judge somebody, we're making them wrong, okay? When we use discernment, we're saying, oh, that's not for me. There is a big energetic difference between discernment and judgment. I don't have to make anybody wrong to not want to do what they do, or not want to be like they are, or not want to be engaged with what they're engaged with. That's a total difference. That's an I statement. I'm not making anybody wrong for it. Judgment is making people wrong. So that's another way we can live a more joyful life, is we just stay out of judgment. Everybody's here and everybody's doing their own thing. Isn't it lovely? And, you know, we bump up against each other sometimes. Sometimes we annoy each other. That happens, you know. Sometimes we anger each other. That happens too. But we know within, it's all joy. It's all God. It's all love. And we can direct our energy in a specific direction. You know, when we stay detached from the conditions of others, we can stay in the joy of our own lives. And the last practical thing, if we don't feel our joy, reach out to someone. Reach out to someone who knows the truth for you. Call a practitioner. Just say, hey, I've misplaced my joy. Could you pray it for me? I've misplaced it. I don't know where it is. It used to be around, but I don't have it right now. So you call a practitioner. You call a minister. You call me. You call your prayer partner. You call your best friend. You call somebody. You say, I've lost my joy. I don't know. I can't find it right now. And they will pray it back for you. Do not call the person that goes, oh my God, let me tell you what's going on in my life, you know, and then they start, and it's like a sucking black hole of negativity. Don't call that person, you know. Don't call that person. Don't call the ain't it awful friend you have. Come on, you know, we all have one, right? Everybody has one. And it's like the worst thing in the world we can do when we can't find our joy. They unite with us in our misery. It's not what you want. That is not what you want, you know. Other people's drama, that's not our drama either. So if we're feeling poorly, we need to be uplifted. So you call that friend that knows the truth for you, even when you've forgotten it. You call that friend who prays with you. You call that friend that knows the song in your heart when you have forgotten the lyrics and the melody. You know that person. You might have a bunch of them, and that's wonderful. You have a bunch of practitioners here. You can call any one of them, and they'll sing the song on your heart, and they'll pray the truth for you. So that's what we do if we've temporarily misplaced our joy, you know. We all have people in our lives that love us unconditionally. You know, the vow that the practitioners take is to love unconditionally. The vow that our ministers and all of the practitioners in religious science take is to love unconditionally, to love regardless of appearance, to love regardless of condition, regardless of story. It's simply to love. So those are the people you want to share your story with. You don't want to share your sad story with the person who's going to beat your sad story with their sad story. You know, oh, you think you got it bad. Let me tell you about, you know, oh my gosh. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to share our ain't it awful stories. Because an ain't it awful story is just a story. Again, it's just a story, you know, and it won't uplift us. So we're here to uplift us. That's why we come into spiritual communities like this. So that people can look you in the eye and they know that you're God in hiding. You're a delightful outpicturing of spirit. Look at you, you're beautiful. Look at you, you're perfect, whole, and complete. That's what we do here. We know the truth for each other, regardless of conditions, regardless of circumstances, regardless of story. We know the truth for each other, and that's why spiritual communities are so powerful, because they lift us. We need those people around. We also need the people around us that'll give us tough love, too. Do you have one of those friends? Man, you need one of those friends, because when you're in your story and you're going, and they go, oh, I'm sorry, BS, and they will call you on your BS, which is your belief system, right? Okay, you need those friends, too, okay, that will absolutely call you on your BS. And that is a loving and uplifting thing to do also, because it gets us to remember our story is just a story. It's not the truth of us. Our story is a temporary condition in which we find ourselves. That's all it is. And this too shall pass. And no matter how bad our story looks, and no matter how sad our story looks, what we know is the joy is in there all along. Just like we know when the storm clouds come over. Remember that rainy day we had the other day? God, wasn't that awesome? When the rain clouds come over and cover up the sun, we don't all wonder where the sun's gone. We know it's there, and it's behind the clouds, and this too shall pass. And then the joy is right there all along, where it's always been within us to let out. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, "We must abandon our ideas to the supreme cause and wait for the harvest time with joyful expectancy. There should be a definite and conscious expectancy." Wouldn't that be absolutely fabulous? You wake up in the morning just expecting your good. I know it's on the way. My good is on its way. He goes on to say this. We should feel as though the entire power of the universe were for us and never against us. All conversation to the contrary must be resolutely set aside. So, no more ain't it awful stories. Just don't engage with them anymore. He goes on to say this. Remember, affirmative prayer is neither wishing nor willing. It is an affirmation of the presence, the power, and the willingness of the divine law to specialize itself for us. We use it, we direct it, we co-create with it. We didn't make it, we just align with it. He said, it is not through human determination, nor by power, nor by might, but by the silent workings of the Spirit, through organized thought, that the divine imparts its power to each of us. We are the chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What shall we produce? Oh, I love that. It gives me chills. We are the chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What shall we produce? What are you mixing up? We have all the ingredients within us, all the qualities of God within us. What are we going to produce? It's like we've all come with the same ingredients. Love and joy and peace and power and abundance and beauty and love and order and wisdom and harmony and I don't know, there's other ones that I've forgotten, I think. Freedom. We all come with the same ingredients, and how are you going to mix them up to make a unique and individual life, your life? Because that's what we're here to do. Mix up those ingredients that we've all come with uniquely and individually as only we can. And so your cake is going to look different from your pizza, which is going to look different from your bread. But we can make whatever we want out of those ingredients. What are we going to make? Life is joy. Life is joy. Life is good. Life is God. Our life is the one life of God's expressing. It is up to us to live it to the fullest, to use all the ingredients. Use all the ingredients that you've come with. And we live in joy, and we live in happiness, and we live in love, and all of those qualities. We demonstrate them through us and as us into the world. Make your life a joyful noise. Thank you.